Hi, friends. Welcome back to The Gist. I'm your host, Ellie. Today, we are discussing the Sprinkle Hypergamous movement and why you should participate, but be careful. This is Isis, also known as the new trophy wife. Prior to this week, I did not know who this woman was. I don't necessarily follow Sprinkle or Hypergamous TikTok or YouTube. At one point, 2018, 2019, I used to listen to that. I used to just be entertained. And the primary person I listened to was SheraSeven. And she offers insight that you take what's applicable and you leave the rest. This next clip is of Isis and how SheraSeven changed her life and how she practically met her husband due to SheraSeven's teachings on how to get a high value man.
SheraSeven on YouTube, and she completely changed my life. And she basically taught me what a high value man is and what to look for when trying to find a husband. So I ended up taking my sister's advice and signing up for eHarmony. I think the second person that I matched with was the man that I'm married to now, my husband. And it was very different. My husband and I have a 20-year age gap, and he was not the first older man that I dated. So when I met my husband, I knew right away almost, and people say that, but it was definitely true. I know it sounds cliche. Just from our first date, it just felt natural. I felt like I just had known this person already. It was so comfortable. So we went to a really nice seafood restaurant, and it was great. It was an amazing first date. And mind you, I think we both were kind of just dating different people at the time, and that's definitely something that I recommend if you're looking to, find a husband. It's not just dating one person at a time. It's not good to put all your eggs in one basket, but we had a great first date, and I think he ended up asking me to be his girlfriend on the first date, and I said I would think about it. I'm not just going to agree to be your girlfriend just after meeting you, because I know that you just want me to be your girlfriend so that you can get in my pants. So I didn't agree, and we both were, we were talking, but then for some reason we kind of stopped talking for a little while, and we both were dating other people and doing our own thing, and then I had gotten into a serious relationship with somebody, and I ended up falling for the girlfriend trap. But that guy had really investing a lot into me and doing a lot for me, so I kind of felt like I had to agree to be his girlfriend, because he asked me multiple times, and I finally agreed. So after me and him broke up, it didn't feel good. It didn't feel like a family, the kind of family that I was wanting. So I ended up breaking up with him, and we were living together. We were living together, and I just packed all my stuff and left. And it was crazy because the next day, my husband, my now husband, reached out to me and was like, "Hey, how are you doing?" And I told him, I just got out of a relationship, and I kind of told him a little bit about why. And he was telling me "Oh, those are my boys," and he had genuinely really connected with my kids, and he was not the kind of man that was just be nice to them to get to me. It was very genuine, and that was one of the things that I really loved about him. That was something that stood out about him versus the other men that I had dated, was he really embraced the fact that I had children because he wanted children. And so, he was talking, my lease was going to be ending very soon, which is why I went ahead and moved in with my person that had became my ex. We started living together, and I told my husband, I was like, "Hey," it was so embarrassing to him, but I was like, "I need a place to stay because my lease is ending, and I just broke up with my boyfriend, and maybe even if it's just for a couple weeks, it's okay. Just while I look for somewhere else, because I had planned on needing to find somewhere else." And he was saying, "Well, if you're going to live with me, it's going to be as my wife, not as my girlfriend." And I was like, "Well, how spontaneous are you?" And he laughed, and he said, "Very spontaneous." So then I was like, right. So we started entertaining the idea of getting married.
Whether you know who SheraSeven is or have listened to her teaching, I can tell you with confidence, she would never encourage you to marry someone that you have met within a week, let alone introduce your children, move your children in with this person. Have you done the proper due diligence to know who this person is? I mean, have you taken the time to learn who this person is? What is their name? What is is their real name? Who are they as far as character? I understand her being in a desperate situation, but this is where you have to be very careful with the decisions that you make in life. And unfortunately, there are consequences when you make rash decisions.
6 weeks ago, I was changing my daughter, my 4-year-old daughter, and I noticed that when I changed her, she was red and very sensitive. And immediately, my first thought was, did someone touch her? Oh God. Gosh. So I asked her, I said, baby, did somebody touch you? And she ended up saying it was Daddy.
I am beyond horrified by this allegation. I do wish the children all the best. May they have therapy. May they be able to heal and move on from this. Though they are very young, I do hope they are able to move on from this. But there are many questions here. First and foremost, is it appropriate to come online and somewhat detail this, especially as we have seen the children? I know some people have mixed emotions on posting their children online. One of the video or the screen grabs that I included, the children were a part of it, and I personally did not want to put their faces out there, being that their mom has already put their face out there. People are familiar with them. Was there a way to tastefully detail this? I'm not one to tell you that. I do feel as though the children deserved a little bit more privacy, because this is something that will stay up online for quite a while. Once you upload something on the internet, it is very difficult to scrub the web, regardless of how hard and the services you may pay. Once something it is up, it is up. So that is something to be mindful of when you upload either content or information online. Once it is online, it is difficult to take down. Will Isis now divorce her husband? Will charges be filed against him, being that there was evidence that was found that he had inappropriately touched his children? What exactly are we to do with this information? That's where a lot of mixed feelings come from, because while you sympathize with this person, what are we as the social media audience supposed to do with this? Especially if she chooses to stay with him. Therefore, then you look like you're a bad mother, because look at what this man has done to your children. And in a separate video, I did not include it here, but Isis spoke about how her husband had taken advantage of her prior to them being married. So it seems he had certain behaviors that she chose to ignore, which is very concerning.
Stayed in situations much longer than I had to, because I had children in those situations. So I understand the struggle of that, definitely. But you know, there's that saying, when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, that's when you'll make a change, and that's very true. So it's just all about whenever you have the courage to do that. Sorry if my house is noisy in the background. I don't know how much you all can hear, but there's so many of us that it's just like that. So if you hear stuff in the background, just act like you don't. I showed my baby sister video about dating. If you guys can hear my daughter, she's upstairs with my husband being cranky. So
if you recall earlier in this video, we mentioned SheraSeven and how Isis states she learned everything she needs to know from watching SheraSeven on YouTube. Let's learn a little bit more from Shera herself.
Don't tell people you got kids. That's the stupidest thing you can do because they start to treat you a certain way. And like I said, there's weirdos out there. Single moms need to stay quiet when they're dating. And they need to date for a long time until the man has fallen in love with them, gave them money, invested in them heavily. Then when she deems him worthy to be serious or exclusive, then she can tell him, there's something that I haven't told you yet. If you're going to bring somebody around your kids, you got to get the background checks. You got to get all that stuff. And plus, if you have young kids, you really shouldn't be out there anyway trying to bring people around them. If that child is not old enough to fight or to tell somebody or to dial 911, you shouldn't be bringing any strangers, men or women or strangers around them anyway. I don't do that. I don't even let people babysit my kids. If it's a family member like your grandma or something, yes, but like I don't let strange people around my kids. That's crazy. I would never do that. I'm too much of a mother. Okay? You can date several guys, get the bag without them never, ever meeting your children or never even knowing you have kids. Do you know how many women do this? Do you know how many women date and get the bag and the men don't even know they got kids? Sprinkle, sprinkle.
And that, my friend, is a word from Shera. When it comes to SheraSeven, take what is applicable and leave the rest. Not everything will apply to you, but she makes solid points when it comes to dating and having children. The next clip I want to play for you is Shera's response to these allegations that Isis learned everything she knows about hypergamy from Shera. Take a listen.
You're desperate? Don't claim me. I'm sorry, but if you're sitting out there, you learned everything from me. Did you learn how to be smart? Did you learn how not to be desperate? You didn't learn from me. You learned from whoever putting clips out on TikTok 30 seconds long. You didn't learn from me. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Did you learn from this channel or did you learn from 30-second clips on TikTok? Because I didn't put those out. You didn't learn from the YouTube channel? Did you learn over here? Did you learn what I said after 30 seconds? Did you hear what I said after sprinkle, sprinkle? Or before? Did you hear that? Did you hear when I said stop being desperate? Did you hear when I said don't be a pygmeisha? Did you hear when I talked about background checks? Did you hear when I talked about all this other stuff? About not dealing with men if you have kids until they're old and grown enough to speak for themselves? And be in school and whatnot. Did you not hear when I said all of that? Because you was not following the real account? Don't blame me.
I want to encourage young women to be careful when taking level up advice from people online. You have to understand that these men are presenting information, whether it may be truthful or just for entertainment. You need to use discernment. Not everything that they say you take for verbatim. You have to use common sense when they are providing such insight. And as always be careful. Be careful. There are many that have lost their lives by dating in a hypergamous manner because they see the money, they see the glitz, the glams. For all you know, a lot of these people are scammers. They don't even really have money. So what I do want to say is if you do want to partake in this life, meaning hypergamous dating, be very careful. Well, friends, that is all for today. I know today was a heavy topic. Please be respectful in the comments as well as when you're interacting with others. I would love for you to comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you for watching. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Bye.